Our guests this evening have traveled far and wide.
That's right.
Our man Joe over there was afraid he was going to be destroyed. Never seen or heard from again.
So he was sitting and waiting for us as we walked.
Which is a general theme whenever anybody comes here. They think they're in the hinterlands and they're never getting out alive, Bruce. It happens. I told him that. He wouldn't be the first. Yeah.
Won't be the last.
That's why that creek's there. That's where we just throw the bodies on the other side over there. But Joe is here because he has met our guest here this evening, who, as we said, we met at the Long Branch Jazz and Blues Festival as he performed with his father's unit. And, of course, we have entertained his father on a couple of shows. And we're glad to have him here. So please welcome G. Shaw, the Garden State Great.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. Claire,
right.
Thank you very much. Danny,
Yes, sir.
thank you very much. Rock on Radio.
Oh, we thoroughly enjoyed your set
Yeah, it
at
was
the
a lot of
Jazz
fun.
and Blues Festival.
Thank you. And I almost forgot to thank Bruce.
That's right.
Thank you,
Woohoo.
Bruce.
That's right.
Now, Claire had asked me earlier today. Our guest is confirmed, so the checklist that she goes through that, because I can't be trusted, and
I
She
may pull
asked me-
fire alarms, but
she asked me if you were performing live. She asked me if you were bringing anybody. She asked me if I had music, so on and so forth. And I said 99% sure he's not performing live. I think he's coming alone, and I'm not sure when we're getting his music.
So he was wrong on all counts. I got everything, and we're all set. And you have a guest.
Well, he's usually correct. I'm used to doing a lot of shows or big shows alone, actually. That's how my career started off. I would go do shows in New York City. I have shows with High 97, Power 105, other events with magazines. And unfortunately, friends would be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to come. And then, I'm waiting by the bus and, I get the text message or earlier in the day, oh, I can't go, this and that. So unfortunately, but fortunately at the same time, that's how I built my courage because I had to travel out of state.
By yourself.
By myself, meet people, engage with people, and put myself in a position where I could become a better person, which is the ultimate goal.
Nice. Awesome.
Well, there you
We're
go.
glad you're here. And we're
Thank
glad
you.
Joe's
Thank
here.
you for
All
having
right,
me.
all right. With all that said, now explain Joe then.
Explain Joe.
So Joe and I used to work together at Whole Foods Market.
Oh, cool.
And then Joe also helped me get a job at one point when I worked at Wegmans.
Nice.
Joe's been very supportive of me through everything. When he worked in Manalapan, the Manalapan Wegmans, and I would perform in Freehold, he pretty much came to almost every show.
Nice.
And he did that because he knew how I'm used to not having people there to support me. So he just wanted to make sure that at least I could look out there and I would see him,
Nice.
feel comfortable, and, be able to be who I am as a person and just show everyone, what I'm about and what I strive to do every day. Nice. So that's why he's here right now, because someone else was supposed to come and they weren't able to, but Joe was like, bro, I got you, because he knows the struggle. He knows what I've been through. And regardless, I would have been here even if he wasn't able to come.
Nice. But we're glad you're here. Both of you. Yay.
Fantastic. All right. So you said a key phrase in there that I am going to latch on to.
Wegmans. Sorry. Was there another key phrase in there?
It's like word association. Art.
Supplies.
Yes, that's great. We're ready for password. You said, now I forget where I was going with this.
Key phrase.
Right. Key phrase. Correct.
I may take you off track, but I'll bring you back.
Now, you said something about finding out who you are.
Yes.
Okay. So who are you?
So I'm someone who you wouldn't expect. One thing about me is I have one ultimate goal. And all it is to become the best version of myself that I can possible. With that, everything else happens. Greatness, meaning you become a better son because you're striving to be better at whatever. So then you're going to be a better son. You're going to be a better friend, better sister, brother, uncle, mentor, you name it. But if you're not chasing the best version of yourself, you're kind of wasting your time here, technically, because you think you can do this, but you can actually do more. And the reason I say that is because I taught myself how to rap. And I never thought I would be able to do what I can do today. And each day is like that because a lot of times I'll get in front of audiences and improv split second. But I remember those times when I would practice initially and it didn't sound good at all. And I would say to myself, oh, you're terrible, you're this, like you suck. I would tell myself that because it didn't sound fluent. Even though I knew I would become better at it, it was all about, it's always been about, to me, the end goal. And the end goal is always going to be to create the best version of yourself.
Well, I can't imagine, given the stock that you come from, that being a very difficult task. I mean, Claire and I absolutely adore your father, Kumo, and we loved having him on the show. It was so good to see him at that festival. And I mean, I've run into him so many times over the years, playing with Peter Viteska and then Papa John and all those kind of things. And do you perform with him often?
So that's his band, but I'm the lead singer in that band.
Oh,
Okay.
Cool.
So we've been doing that since, I think it's 2017.
Nice.
But we've actually, been creating that type of music well before then. I used to go to a jazz jam at La Tavola Cucina in South River. He took me there one day, and, I always liked listening to jazz, but, I didn't really understand jazz like that. So we would go, weekly because it was on a Thursday night. The guys would play or whatever, and I would just listen to the rhythms. And I'm like, all right, yeah, this is cool. They would have different people come sing, play different instruments. And I'm like, all right, yeah, jazz is cool. I have more respect for it. I mean, it's one of the predecessors of hip hop, so that's like one of the reasons why, I've always been very drawn to it, because any of the elements of hip hop, I'm just drawn to. I can't explain it. So going there, listening to the rhythms, I would go there and I would sing. And the one thing about, with me singing is I happen to write a song and I would perform that song. So everyone just knew I was a singer. No one knew that I can do a lot more than that. So, of course, I would come there and perform in a singing aspect. And behind the scenes, I'm just listening to the rhythms, really studying it. Okay, this is how the drums go. Oh, this is similar, really similar to hip hop. Okay. So when I'm about to start explaining to you is how I improv as well. So to me, I'm like, all right, this is how the drums go. All right, cool. All I have to really do is stay within the drums. It doesn't matter what's playing, because if I'm within the drums, then I'm definitely, as long as I'm in the rhythm set, it doesn't really matter. So going there, hearing that, one time, I'm like, all right, I know I can spit bars on this. So they're playing a song, and then I just start rapping. And it's all off the top, just rapping. So now so then I stop rapping, and they're done playing the song, and they just stop, and they all look at each other. They're all confused, just looking at each other, talking to each other, but they're like, So then one guy, he looks at me, Joe Lisa, who's the lead guitarist, and he's our musical director. He looks at me and he's like, "What was that?" So I just look at him. I'm like, "What? You talking about rapping? Rap? Yeah. Whatever that was, you do that. Don't do anything else. Do that." So, at that time, of course, it's still hard because people are used to, your traditional jazz, singing a certain way, those type of rhythms. So, but where I was, a lot of people were receptive to new music or fusion of the music. So at that time, I've made fans who are 70 years old, 80 years old, because they listen to jazz, but then the way I guess I present it, it's in a form that they wouldn't expect. And because it's clean, there's no cursing, there's no derogatory of women or anything like that. They're more receptive to it. And then all of a sudden, now they understand what hip hop is truly about. The poetry involved with it, the storytelling, how what you say being an MC is truly your word. It's not something that you took from someplace else. It's coming from within. It's you expressing your soul in an art form to those who are in front of you. Hey, this is who I am. It's like that saying in The Get Down on Netflix. I love that show because it just talks about the beginning of hip hop. This one guy says, if you give the universe everything, it'll give you back more than what you expect. And all you have to do is just sit back and enjoy it. But you have to give the universe everything. So that's why I always talk about, like I said earlier, you have to go for the ultimate you or the best version of yourself, because at the end of the day, you're always going to surprise yourself.
That's great.
True. I surprised myself on the way here. I mean,
You surprise me all the time.
Well, there you go. No, and
And he was talking about 80-year-old people enjoying, and that's
right in my age
that's
group.
you.
Yeah. She's harsh, man.
Like 40 years, that's you.
Yeah.
100.
Dog years, maybe. No. So
True.
well, and now normally I'm going to. We've had other rappers or people who incorporate a lot of rap into their original music, or sections of, there's always that breakdown where they rap something, then go back to being like a singer-songwriter in the same song. You know what I'm talking about? But you, in the 15 plus years I've done this, are probably, matter of fact, you are the first rapper I've had on the show.
Thank you.
Now, normally, no, thank you for making a drive here. Normally, I stay away from rap and hip hop for exactly what you just said. The lyrical content, I don't want to put something out over the air that's going to have to get
Conflict.
bleeped out every
Right.
10 seconds or create some sort of conflict. I appreciate anybody's art. I just like this program, you know what? Some people can't stand and others enjoy it. When it comes to art, like we have a very good friend of this program who's a abstract artist. No, not fire. No, not an abstract artist. And I always say it, and she paints in fluid acrylics, and I always say to her, Adriana, like, she'll tell me what she had in mind when she painted it. But and I've got a painting or two of hers at home, but if you hung it up on the wall and I asked you that, you might look at it and say, either, I got no freaking idea, or, oh yeah, that looks kind of like, rose flowers, and to art to everyone, it's subjective. It to everyone
Correct.
it means something different.
Mm-hmm.
Lyrics you hear to you may mean one thing, to me may mean another. What was they trying to say there? Well, yeah. So art is always very different. It's subjective. But the lyrical content, now you mentioned that, off the top of your head. Did you freestyle a lot? And is that how you write your lyrical content? Did you go to freestyle events? How did you hone this craft?
So to me, it's always been about structuring each part. Like I've said, and I'm going to keep saying, the best version of yourself. I've seen artists, who are great rappers, but they're not great songwriters. Or they're a great rapper, a great songwriter, but they're not a great performer. So what I did with myself is I tried to fuse what hip hop needs, or just what an artist needs, or what someone would look at a rapper as, what it's supposed to be. Not what people are being told, by labels to do, but what it's supposed to be. So that's why I feel personally I'm great at all of those, because I've studied each one and then made sure that I'm great at it. Not good, but great at it. And I say great because of the amount of time, friendships I've lost, or just other things that have happened in my life because I've spent that much time working on each part. Like, you'll have an artist who you hear his record or her record, man, this is fire, this is lit. And now you're watching them live and the voice doesn't sound like the record. So to me, what's the point of that? Okay, yeah, you sound great, but the only thing that really matters is what you do in front of someone. Because personally, to me, you can't hide behind the studio. You can't hide behind the effects now. Right here in front of me is what's the real deal. So to me, I've always made sure that performance has to be better than the writing and the improving, because the performance shows everyone, no matter what, if you like it or you don't, you respect it. And everyone's not going to like you. That's just how, that's the law of the averages, numbers and everything. But people will respect it, because I've had people come up to me, I don't like rap, I don't like it at all, but what you do is just witty. It's genius, this and that. But going back to what you were talking about, the writing, the freestyle, and the performing, you have to practice a lot. You really have to practice, even when you do not believe you're that good at it, because that's yesterday. If you're looking at the future, then it doesn't matter. So to explain to you one thing about myself, I knew I was top notch on the stage at Long Branch. But you know what I said to myself after that? Man, you did that then? Imagine how good you're going to be in a year from now if you keep working at it like this. You'll make something like that look like it's nothing. And that's all I care about. I don't care about ladies being around. Oh, you're so-and-so. At the end of the day, that doesn't matter. What matters is how great you can become. And that's why I have great at the end of it. Garden State, great. New Jersey, great. Because what I made sure is I can do something that most people in the world cannot do. And it's be able to do all three of those things. I will sit for an hour, 10 minutes, whatever, and practice freestyling. Then there are days that I'll sit there and I wake up at 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning, put the laptop on, type. Sometimes I don't type on the laptop. I write, because writing is the best form. And a lot of people don't understand what goes on with your mind when you write things down. There's a heavy level of memorization that goes on that you do not think about because you think about the thought. Now the thought has to hit the paper. But before it hits the paper, that's twice already. But now it runs through your veins. That's more memorization and it being in your body. Then after it's on the paper, you see it. That's another memorization. So when you do this with things that you love, put words together in different ways. When you see them and you're in front of people, you're envisioning those words, but you're really not envisioning them because they're a part of you, because you've worked so hard at all of them. You have to be able to write in order to be able to freestyle well, because otherwise then you have a limited vocabulary.
Right.
You have to read. I read as well. There's a lot of things with me that make me what I consider exceptional. And normally I don't talk like this in front of people, but it's the truth now because there's been a lot of different venues that I've been in that I've done top-notch things. And the beauty of being able to do the top-notch things is to reflect on it, but make sure you go back to it, the roots of it. Because like I said, I did this. This is great. I can do better than that. So you have to be able to write. You have to be able to read. You have to be able to perform. So the writing and the reading is still its own thing, as well as your practice of freestyling. Because now you have to walk around, look at different things, make sure you're making eye contact with people. You have to make sure the crowd is engaged. That's what an MC is. You have to do all that. And so I've truly embraced that because I've always known I could become that, and I know that I can become more than that.
Excellent. No, it's kind of like, especially what you were talking about, writing things down. They say people, Claire, of my advanced age, that you should do like crossword puzzles every day to keep your brain sharp and such you remember certain vocabulary things.
Was it writing with quill pens?
And an
Did
inkwell.
that help you?
Yeah, no, it was the Flintstones. I chiseled it.
Oh, it chiseled out.
Would you like to do some music now, sir?
Sure,
So we
why
can
not?
observe what you're speaking
Yes,
of
that's
here?
right.
Sure.
We have to.
Let's go with grammar, since we're talking about,
All right.
words and wordsmith and everything. So grammar, the way it hits is, it talks about, it goes all technical into grammar, definitions and everything. And actually, I produced this track. It's off my album Dennis. That's on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, every platform possible. And the reason I wrote that one is about grammar. And one thing with the wordsmith is wordplay. So depending on what you're listening to, it could have more than one meaning. It could have two, it could have three. So it's all really about, like you said, art, subjective. So as long as I can catch you on one of those, let's say I throw three of them out and I catch you on one, I'm good.
Check the perspective.
Exactly.
Triple entendre.
Right,
Yes.
Here is G. Shaw, the Garden State Great, which we'll get a little more into when we come back, and his song called
Grammar.
Grammar. Noun. Grammar is the whole system and structure of a language or of languages in general. Usually taken and consisting of syntax and morphology, and sometimes also phonology and semantics. Where's your grammar at? The mic in my hand like Thor with the hammer. Summon forces, turn energy to grammar. Flow platano en español, the flow bananas. Is that a mirror? Now that phone's on camera. I'm an intellectual, this in my dwelling. I don't look like an MC, who you telling? You laugh along cause you know it's the truth. I spit so much fire, I burned every single tooth. And I don't see them no more like a phone booth. Now every single tooth that I got fireproof. There is no question I'm the truth in the booth. Go to K&G Men's, match a suit with the coupe. Turn wine into water and water into wine. Reverse osmosis and manipulate time. Step my game up so much my calves hurt. I'm not Wolverine, but on tracks I go berserk. Women see me get weak in the knees. Forest fires the way I smoke trees. You might think my parents are Chinese. Always high in the air trap. Peace. Women see me get weak in the knees. Forest fires the way I smoke trees. You might think my parents are Chinese. Always high in the air trap. Peace. I got one shot, went and got the golden gun. Went and grabbed the hammer, but now Odin's son. The hammer is the mic, no talker gun. G-Shaw on the mic, I'm the one. Ain't see this coming like a QB sneak. Computers can't determine or project my peak. Training with dragons so I can spit this heat. I do this every day and every hour of the week. Women see me get weak in the knees. Forest fires the way I smoke trees. You might think my parents are Chinese. Always high in the air trap. Peace. Women see me get weak in the knees. Forest fires the way I smoke trees. You might think my parents are Chinese. Always high in the air trap. Peace. They try to count me out without even counting. Swim at beaches, lay right next to mountains. Big booty for a size, give a pouncing. I grew up in the burbs, my grandma moved mountains. Losing track of these bars, but who's counting? So I hire an accountant to start counting. Touch women below, it flow like a fountain. Only reason I know, cause I started counting. Women see me get weak in the knees. Forest fires the way I smoke trees. You might think my parents are Chinese. Always high in the air trap. Peace. Women see me get weak in the knees. Forest fires the way I smoke trees. You might think my parents are Chinese.